Afternoon. It's Wednesday, hump day, whatever that means. Working on a beautiful 357 again. Jamie McNell's from Victoria. This thing is in primo shape. Full wrap handlebar, large dogs from Husqvarna. I ported it to my porting specs that I do on these. Changed a few things. I'm going to show you that was wrong with it, and some fixes to do on them that'll help you out. Okay. He was complaining about the throttle when you're pushing on the saw. It was making the throttle rev up and go on, but right now when I move it, it doesn't push that rod at all, and it shouldn't. What happens on these saws and like some 300 series Husqvarnas, 357s, 346s, whatever, I don't know to explain them all, but let me just show you something, what to check on your mounts on the saw. The mounts are screwed into the plastic tank with these coarse screws and another screw that holds it to the crankcase body, okay? So on these saws, you should take the screw out that goes into your mount. If you're having that problem, or if you're not, just check them once in a while. Take your Allen wrench and go right through the mount to where it's connected to the tank and tighten it on the plastic. This one was quite loose, so it was moving around a bit, and the other front one too was loose. So take this screw out, put your Allen wrench in there and tighten it up. Then put this screw back in. The mounts on these, they don't break very often. You know, sure they might if you yanked on it a little too hard, but they're pretty reliable, and we all know Huskies are super smooth, right? So we'll get that back in there. Tighten that up good. And away you go. You can do that one in the back. You can do the one here in the front where your chain catcher would have been if you don't have full wrap handlebars. The same thing. And your screws too that go into the plastic tank. Sometimes the older saws have been used a lot. They can strip in this plastic. So you can either put in the metal key inserts in here and put a machine screw in, or a fatter screw. But just don't have too long of a one, or it'll hit the crankcase when you're pushing on it, right? Okay? And then you'll wear a hole into your oil pod of your crankcase, and that's not a good thing. It'll leak oil. You'll have to DevCon it up or weld it or replace the case. Another issue on these 357s, this one's good, but in the front of the tank right here, sometimes this will separate between the two halves here. So it gets kind of sloppy. Right there, you can see that kind of moves a little bit, but some of them get quite bad. So what you can do is when you take the tank off and you cut yourself a piece of plastic, like an old cover or something, right? Cut a square off and rivet it into the back of the tank from the top side. Okay, rivet it this way so the rivets, button head of the rivets are sitting there and they're not going to hit the crankcase, obviously, right? That's a good fix for that if that ever happens to you. Another thing that was wrong with this saw was the carb mounting adapter. They're just a plastic piece here where the carb bolts on, and you use the two carb bolts that thread into the plastic here. People over tighten them and they strip them. So I just happen to have a good used one here for Jamie, and I've helped him out replace that because I'm sure we don't have any in stock. We might, but I never checked. I just helped him out here. On that note, the other problem with it was sucking air here, obviously, because you couldn't get the carburetor tight, right? And he put a new carburetor on, the newer style Zama carburetor that are available for 357s versus the old Walbro ones that they had, the HDAs. They worked fine until you had a problem with the acceleration pump little system on them. This carb worked good until that function messed up. So the Zama one doesn't have that, and it tunes up fine on these saws. So that's been changed. Someone to put a different pulse hose on here, and you notice this type of hose, when you try to make a circle with it, it closes it up so it's not getting pulse properly. So I put the original black squiggly Husky line back on there, right? Another thing that was wrong as well is the fuel line for the carburetor itself. He put a piece of this on there, and it was loose on the connection of the carburetor. On the Walbro one here, it's tight, but on the Zama one, it was quite loose. So that'd have been sucking air there too for you, Jamie. So yeah, I've replaced fuel lines, the carburetor mounting block, tightened his bolts up for his mounts, so that shouldn't be happening. Done my porting, gasket delete as well. Checked this carburetor out anyways, even though I know it was fairly new. I just checked it out anyways. A lot of times you've seen my mufflers where I put the two small pipes on it here. You know, one here, one here. These inside have quite a baffling in them, but he's added on the West Coast saw carburetor or exhaust deflector, which is a good setup. Gordy's done a good job with this, and he gives you a set of instructions with it. So on these, you can either weld them on if you got a TIG welder, or it comes with some little captive screws and little keen insert kind of nuts and a screen, and the instructions are inside here how to bolt it on or weld it on. And he also's got this QR code thing here, and you can watch an instructional video of it. That's pretty cool. Right on, man. Good job, Gordy. So I decided not to do anything else to this muffler. It's got the stock outlet and this great big side one. I think that's plenty for it. He's gonna like this saw. As you know, 357s is one of my favorites, just like old Buck and Billy here. He likes that too. He's got one of mine as well. So yeah, I just finished doing a really nice 357 Chris Nacarado that I sent off to him yesterday. He'll have that in a few days. He'll love that one too. But yeah, Jamie's got himself a nice saw here now. Like I say, this thing's like new. The compression release has been plugged. What else? What did I want to talk to you about on this saw? Yeah, that's about it really. They're just a darn good saw, man. 3/8 on them works perfect. I used to run 20-inch 3/8 on mine, and that thing would outcut a lot of big saws because of the speed of the chain, and I had a 8-pin tooth on it as well. 8-pin sprocket on it. So yeah, there you go, Jamie. Here's a great saw for you. This thing will last you a long time. Just don't run any straight gas in it. No, that's bad karma. I shouldn't have said that, eh? But yeah, West Coast saw universal ports work great for your own modification on saws. I just did a little 550 Mark II yesterday, and I could have used one of these on there, but I used the regular old 288 style one that I do most of my mufflers with, right? On the 550s, I cut off the standard top on it. I cut out all the baffling out of it, then I just weld this on top of the screen. Good to go, man. No reason to buy an aftermarket muffler for Huskies. You can do all the modifications yourself, or have someone from a shop that knows what they're doing to modify it. Not like, unfortunately, Stills, where you got your front cover plate, right? And you can buy the bark boxes to go on the front. That's an easy setup and an instant power gain, at least 0.5 to 0.7 of a horsepower gain. So get West Coast bark boxes, or there's other ones available online, Egan and a bunch of other names. But the West Coast ones work great. Take 4 bolts off, bolt it on, bam, right there. You got more power, runs cooler. If you do have an adjustable carburetor, make sure you adjust the carburetor properly for the exhaust. If you have an electronic carburetor, you shouldn't have to. It'll self-adjust and work just fine for you. But yeah, I'm going to run this tomorrow for Jamie, then get it. He's going to come up from Victoria to Johnny's shop and pick it up. So there you go, buddy. You got yourself a wicked saw. I'm building myself another one again myself. Got a brand new cylinder up here in a box, and I'll be restoring another one for myself. And this time I'm not selling it to anyone. So don't even ask me if I'm going to sell it, because I won't. Anyways, keep a saw into a sticky nice ribbon road. Foz is out there barking at something. I'll go see who's out there or what's out there. Probably just our old rabbit again. He's a rabbit hunter, like the guy off Bugs Bunny, eh? So, have a great day. We'll catch you all later on the next video. Thanks.